Welcome to the story of ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. This is the land where humanity first learned to write, where cities rose from the plains, and where laws were carved into stone. Today, we'll journey through its origins, its people, its achievements, and its enduring influence on the modern world. Let's begin with the setting. Mesopotamia means land between rivers, referring to the Tigris and Euphrates. These rivers flow through what is now Iraq and parts of Syria and Turkey. Around 6,000 years ago, this region offered something rare: fertile soil in an otherwise harsh landscape. Seasonal floods deposited rich silt, creating conditions perfect for agriculture. This abundance allowed small farming villages to grow into complex societies. By 3500 BCE, the first cities appeared: Uruk, Eridu. Uruk was extraordinary. At its height, it may have had 40,000 inhabitants, making it the world's first true city. Imagine the scale. Streets bustling with merchants, artisans shaping clay pots, priests performing rituals in towering temples. These cities were not random clusters of homes. They were planned, organized, and governed. But what made Mesopotamia revolutionary was its innovations. Around 3200 BCE, the Sumerians invented writing. Their system, called cuneiform, used wedge-shaped marks pressed into clay tablets. At first, writing served practical needs, tracking grain, livestock, and trade. But soon it became a tool for literature, science, and law. Without writing, history itself would be silent. Thanks to cuneiform, we know their stories, their struggles, and their dreams. One of the most famous texts is the Epic of Gilgamesh, a tale of kings, gods, and the search for immortality. It's not just a story, it's humanity's first great work of literature, influencing myths and epics for millennia. Mesopotamia also gave us one of the earliest legal codes, the Code of Hammurabi. Hammurabi, king of Babylon around 1750 BCE, inscribed his laws on stone pillars for all to see. These laws covered property rights, trade, family matters, and justice. The principle of an eye for an eye comes from this code. It was a bold attempt to create fairness in a growing and diverse society. Religion shaped every aspect of Mesopotamian life. People believed their gods controlled nature, floods, droughts, fertility. To honor them, they built ziggurats, massive stepped temples that dominated city skylines. Priests performed rituals to keep the gods satisfied, ensuring prosperity and protection. These beliefs gave rise to myths explaining life, death, and the cosmos. The Mesopotamians saw themselves as servants of the gods, living in a world of divine order. Economically, Mesopotamia thrived on agriculture and trade. Farmers grew wheat, barley, and dates. They domesticated animals: sheep, goats, cattle. Artisans crafted pottery, textiles, and metal tools. Trade routes stretched far beyond the rivers, linking Mesopotamia to the Indus Valley, Anatolia, and Egypt. This exchange of goods also meant an exchange of ideas, fueling progress. But life wasn't easy. The rivers that sustained life could also bring destruction. Floods were unpredictable, and droughts could devastate crops. To survive, Mesopotamians built canals and irrigation systems, early feats of engineering that showed human ingenuity. They learned to harness nature, turning chaos into order. Over time, Mesopotamia saw the rise and fall of powerful empires. The Sumerians laid the foundation, creating city-states ruled by kings and priests. Then came the Akkadians under Sargon the Great, who built one of the first empires in history. Later, the Babylonians rose to prominence, with Hammurabi's laws and cultural achievements. The Assyrians followed, known for their military might and vast libraries. Each dynasty left its mark, adding layers to Mesopotamia's rich tapestry. Let's pause and look at daily life. Most people were farmers, living in mud brick houses near fields. Families were large and society was patriarchal. Men held authority, while women managed households and sometimes ran businesses. Children learned skills early, helping in fields or workshops. Education was reserved for the elite, especially scribes, who trained for years to master cuneiform. Being a scribe was prestigious. They were the keepers of knowledge. Food was simple but nourishing. Bread, beer, dates, and vegetables. Beer was a staple, brewed from barley and consumed daily. Clothing was made from wool or flax, and jewelry was common among the wealthy. Music and art flourished. Lyres, harps, and drums accompanied festivals and rituals. Mesopotamian art often depicted gods, kings, and scenes of daily life, carved into stone or painted on walls. Science and technology advanced rapidly. Mesopotamians developed mathematics, using a base 60 system that gave us the 60-minute hour and 360-degree circle. They studied astronomy, tracking stars and planets to create calendars for farming and festivals. Medicine combined practical treatments with spiritual rituals. They even performed surgeries and recorded remedies on clay tablets. Warfare was a constant reality. City-states fought over land and water. Armies used bronze weapons, chariots, and siege tactics. The Assyrians perfected warfare, building a fearsome empire through discipline and innovation. Yet despite conflict, Mesopotamia remained a center of learning and culture. One of the most remarkable legacies of Mesopotamia is its influence on modern life. Writing, law, urban planning, timekeeping all began here. When you read a book, check the time, or walk through a city, you're touching the distant echoes of Mesopotamia. By 539 BCE, the region fell to the Persians and later to Alexander the Great. Though its political power faded, its cultural and intellectual achievements endured, shaping civilizations across the globe. So why does Mesopotamia matter today? Because it reminds us of humanity's capacity for innovation and adaptation. From humble farmers along two rivers came cities, laws, literature, and science, the building blocks of civilization. Thank you for joining us on this journey through ancient Mesopotamia. If you enjoyed this exploration, subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep seeking knowledge, and never stop wondering about the past. Thanks for watching. If you learned anything, or if I at least entertained you today, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. The almighty algorithm decides who gets recommended my videos based on the amount of views versus likes and subscriptions. I wish I didn't have to ask, but please do consider pressing like and subscribe.